Hello again, members of the Vincentian family. Here we are continuing with the series on our vocation stories, and we have another confrere from the Philadelphia province, the CMEAST, Father Steve Bisco. Steve, thank you for taking some time from your busy schedule in teaching and ministering. Can you share with us a little bit of your vocation story?
It actually started, when I was a senior in high school. It was back in the day when all seniors had to do a retreat.
Okay.
So we went up to Manresa to the Jesuit retreat house. So there was 500 guys up there and that type of stuff. So I noticed the difference with the Jesuits. They were really good preachers. They were very easy with young people. So I met with one, and I talked to him and stuff. And after that, I told him, I'd be interested in the Jesuits. So he gave me some material, and then I went back, and actually I was ready to join the Jesuits when I used to work in a sporting goods store, and the Vincentians from Princeton and from the minor SEM used to come to this store and buy all kinds of sports equipment for the year. And that was the first time I met Vincentians. And the first one was Louis Trotta.
Oh, okay.
And Louis was he was funny. He wasn't like other diocesan priests that I met. Not that they're not funny, but and he was engaging. He listened to you, and we also had 3 newly ordained guys who were going for their doctorate over in Louvain and Freiburg. And so I talked to those guys, and they were same thing, down to earth. So Louis gave me his card, and he says, "Hey, if you want to come out and talk to me, feel free." So a couple of weeks later, I did. I went, I talked to him, had a good talk, and he says, "Just come back, and we'll discern, where you're at." And sure enough, I did, and I went into the Vincentians from that. And that was an interesting time because it was right before Vatican II. So you had this old style of seminary training that came from France, which was geared towards agricultural life, and it was really something. But since all of the guys, there were over 100 and some, we were all in an enclosed environment. We never really figured out that this wasn't the way it was supposed to be. So that kept on going through the novitiate and the major SEM. But in our deacon year in the major SEM, then it opened up. And actually it was a Vincentian I'm living with, Father Richard Devine, who opened it up. And so we were out preaching as deacons, going to people's weddings and, doing our regular studies and etc. And it gave you a good taste of Vincentian ministry. And the thing that I liked and noticed was that people would tell me and other men in my class, "We like you because you guys don't put on airs, you're simple, you're really concerned about people, and you're compassionate." And I says, "Oh, okay, very good." And that's where it developed at that point, because you were in more activity with women and men. And now that's something people just accept, in the ministry. Um, but then Vatican II really started to have an impact. And when I was ordained in 1970, you know, a lot of that had settled down in the American church. So we took over Tommy Moore High School, and I taught high school, and that's when it hit me before, because we did some teaching in the major center, but it hit me then that that's my calling. So I taught high school at Tommy Moore, at West Catholic Boys, Archbishop Wood, you know, and I was perfectly happy. Though I would have still been doing that, but then we didn't have enough young Vincentians to continue the work. So I then came to the university because, you know, men that I knew when I was studying and was ordained were here. So I came into campus ministry, and from there went into student affairs, and then in 1995 established the Academic Service Learning Program, and taught as well. And so that's, you know, that's basically what you know, I was involved in, still am, enjoy it. You know, it's I guess it would be very tough to me for young Vincentians. I say that because when I was ordained, there were all kinds of young Vincentians. You know, when we taught at Tommy Moore, there was 8 of us that were ordained, you know, from my time till 7 years. So, you know, you were able to hook up with them, you know, to go out with them, to do ministry with them, and it was, you know, it was good. Same thing at Archbishop Wood. You know, you had young guys there, and we were heavily involved with students. And I used to kid some of the students, because I said to you, none of you became Vincentians, but a lot of you became diocesan priests. What's going on here? And so that's, you know, that was my approach. You know, when I came here, there was an adjustment period, because here you're dealing with an enormous university and you know, different types of students. Then it was 95% white, half Irish, half Italian, and so they were all Catholic, so you could plug into them very easily. And then I noticed slowly but surely it was changing, you know, into a multicultural university. And for instance, I just came from teaching class of 35 students, and there's 6 students in there that are Catholic. You know, the rest are, you know, from all different religious backgrounds, or no religion at all. And so there's an opportunity of, you know, dealing with students and seeing where they're coming from. I also now, at this point, notice that it's going Latino. The church is going Latino, and I don't want to get tree on my case. You know, Vietnamese, you know, African. That's the way it's going. So the community is in a process of adjusting to the fact that we're dealing with Latinos, and they're going to be the ones to, you know, work with Latinos in the future, and they're going to be the future of the church, from what I could see, in the United States. You know, that's a short summary.
Thank you. So you see that diversity of people coming about in the church and the university itself, and you've seen many things happen and open up. Talk about the Vincentian charism at the university itself.
Right.
I see it from the outside in the sense of how effective it can be,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm seeing a lot of things being done. You that are part of the process, in the sense between your teaching and also with other things
Right.
you're doing, how do you feel that's being carried out?
I think it's being carried out not only by Vincentians. You know, we don't have many here, but the people that are here are involved. For instance, Tree knows everybody in the entire university.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't say that to be funny, he does. And people know him, they know he's a Vincentian, they see me, you know, they know I'm a Vincentian. So that has an impact, but what is really developing for me is the lay people that are involved in the Vincentian mission, you know, and in that whole program where they're, you know, become literally Vincentians.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the future here. There's just no doubt about it. And it's a great program because that's what's needed. And I see a lot of people that I know since I came here really enthusiastically involved in that. And they said it made a big difference to them of how they saw themselves as Vincentian. When I first came here, they saw us more as Vincentian, and they were working for Vincentians. Now they see themselves as Vincentians.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so
It's a process of growth.
yeah,
Now, as you know, you talk about the Latino, we have many guys in formation now that are
Right.
Latino, but not only that. And what would be the kind of the message, you know, for them as they're, you know, in their first years of formation and discernment period also? What would be the message for them today? What would you like to tell them to keep them animated in them discerning?
well, first of all, since I've met them, I find that they are animated. These are really, really fine guys. You know, they're generous. From what I can see, they're prayerful. They understand, you know, the Vincentian charism, and you know, I see that they struggle, which is, to me, is interesting because they have to struggle with the English and for the courses here. And I've been over there and, you know, talking to them, and some of these guys spend hours and hours studying because they have to adjust the English, and you know, that's tough to do, and yet they still do it. And I get the sense that they're committed to Vincentian mission. They're definitely going to be working with Latinos. You know, that seems to be their drive of you know, working with Latinos. So I think we have a nice group of guys there, and it's good for us to interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It's good for us to share in that in
Yeah.
our journey as we are
Sure.
continuing. Well, thank you, Steve, for coming and sharing a moment, and we pray for your ministry because that's very important for us, and that you carry it and are happy and joyful in that. And hopefully we'll get to see more of you.
Okay. Thank you.